County Commissioners. So would you please rise for a moment of silent prayer? Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Maybe public comment?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The public comment portion of our meeting provides residents and taxpayers of Butler County a reasonable opportunity to comment on matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which are or may be reported prior to taking official action. Presentations must be limited to 3 minutes. The chairman has asked me to remind everyone that no personal attacks on the character or reputation of county employees, department heads, or any official will be tolerated. Any speaker doing so may be ruled out of order by the chair. I'll call the names in the order that they appear on the sign-up sheet. When you come to the podium, please state your name and your municipality of residence. Peggy Ebersol.
Peggy Ebersol, Middlesex Township. So there's a couple summer concerts happening around town. Tomorrow night, July 10th, Harmony Borough has a free concert entitled Eugene and the Night Crawlers. It begins at 7:30 at the Harmony Inn. It's a bring your own cheer event. Also, Butler County Parks and Recreation invites you to their free Tuesday night family concert series at the Carousel Shelter. Those concerts are also free. Their next concert is Tuesday, July 15th, with entertainment by the band Divine Ridge. Concert time is 6:30. If you missed the Harmony Borough concert, Eugene and the Nightcrawler will perform on Tuesday, July 22nd at the Carousel Shelter. Also, this Saturday, July 12th, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., there will be a mega car cruise at our Butler County Airport. Also, July 10th, 11th, and 12th will be community days at Cranberry Township. Log on to ctccchest.org for activity information. Cranberry Township Senior Centers. Our county, first of all, has 7 senior centers and 3 satellite centers. The Cranberry Senior Center is seeking some donations to help them out. They're looking for some coffee creamer, decaf coffee, decaf tea, paper products, Ziploc bags, everything like that. And if Cranberry Township Senior Center, which is one of our bigger senior centers, needs some help with donations, I'm sure some of the other senior centers can use some help too. Thanks.
Thanks.
James Eckstein.
Jim Eckstein, Butler Township. Mine's the speech today, the sheriff's email, June 27th. About a year ago, Bill McCary told Sheriff Mike Sloop that warrants served and monies collected by his department were not county business. Sounds like total BS to Jim Eckstein. This is definitely a matter of concern for county residences, and any monies collected from the sheriff's department is part of the budget and certainly is county business. I enjoyed the sheriff's warrant briefings. Mike Sloop voluntarily decided to take the chairman's advice and give up his right of free speech. Oh well, that was his choice, not mine. With that said, I'm going to read a paragraph from Sloop's email I received 2 days after the last public meeting. For the last number of months, we have heard many public service messages and even where you can donate money to a family in need. My question is, are these announcements covered with the public comment period of the board? If they are, then I believe every person or nonprofit should be able to make their pitch at the county commissioners meetings. If someone lost a loved one and is raising money for children, then they too should be able to come and tell the viewing public about their plight and ask for money. I was deeply saddened after reading this rhetoric. Mike Sloop voluntarily gave up his First Amendment rights of free speech. Now he expects Peggy and me to give up our rights too. 1 month ago, at the Sheriff, Sloop invited me to a DARE assembly. When I arrived to speak, he uninvites me. He says he's the boss, he's in control of DARE, and I can't speak. Now that's his objective to. Now it's his objective to control my free speech at commissioners' meetings. I didn't know that was under his jurisdiction. That's news to me. What hurts me the most was Sheriff Sloop bringing up the taking of Hannah Schwager's life, a loving mother and breadwinner for 3 young children. Here's the quote from Hannah's friend, Beth Yost. Her kids were her life. She did everything with them. She took them to church every week. She baked with them and she prayed with them. The driver of the other car on Route 68 is suspected by the police of intentionally crashing his car into her car when she was coming home from work. What in our society should be treated with more reverence than a loving family and one's support for their children? I can think of nothing more important. I personally asked Bill McCary if we could make an exception to Hannah Schwager and her children to say that they were collecting money from a memorial fund established at PNC branch. If you can please help by stopping with a contribution. Bill and I discussed this matter for less than 1 minute. Bill said yes. I thanked him and commended him for making an exception to our policy. I am deeply saddened how Mike Sloop has turned our kindness and compassion into something he objects and belittles. I hope he thinks twice about his email tirade in the future. Please help Hannah Schwager's family. Thank you very much.
I don't think Mike was addressing what you were addressing. I think Mike was just questioning the policy and the fact that we don't always follow it. Anybody else?
Yes, sir. Mark Krenitsky.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nice to see you all.
Good morning, Mark.
I know you're not to answer questions, but it was a good discussion. It's a salary board. Mr. Hall is here. I'm still here. My question is, and again, it says it's going to cost the county an extra $4,200 for this tax year. Correct? If I'm reading your paper right. Now, but it's going to save the county $25,000 a year. But my question is, when? Is that going to be next year? Is that 10 years? Is it 20 years?
Can I answer that?
Just a minute. This is not time for question and answer, Mark.
I know. You don't
We
have to
appreciate
answer.
your comments, and if you come to us after the meeting, we'll explain it to you.
No, but I'm allowed to answer, and the answer to that is through attrition. If you
Okay.
retire 15 years from now, or 10 or 20, then you say that goes down to the going rate.
Okay, so-
That's if the new commissioners don't change it. That's the answer.
Okay, so next year we're probably going to be spending, if I get this right, about $8,400 more.
Yeah, plus
But
CR
assume that's-
and Social Security.
Oh, yeah, but that goes with everybody.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you pay that on everybody, so, okay, that was my question, okay. So we don't know when the savings are coming, but they're gonna come at some point, as long as this does not change.
Right.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Anybody else, Amy?
No, that's all.
All right, moving on. We have minutes from June 23rd and June 25th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Old business.
None, sir.
Proclamations.
Yes, we do have a proclamation this morning. It's in recognition of the 7th Annual Celebration of Collaboration, July 10th, 2014. Whereas the mission of the Butler Collaborative for Families is to build a unified and integrated network of services by using a multi-agency approach to break down barriers and strengthen the system of care for children and families of Butler County. And whereas Butler County is fortunate to have a wealth of organizations dedicated to partnering with families to meet their needs and the needs of their children. And whereas the Butler Collaborative for Families clearly recognizes that children and families in our community are provided with more effective services when organizations work in a collaborative manner. And whereas the Butler Collaborative for Families would like to celebrate the spirit of collaboration that is evident in our community by hosting the Celebration of Collaboration event to be held at the Carousel Shelter of Alameda Park on Thursday, July 10th from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Therefore, the Board of Commissioners of Butler County hereby proclaims July 10th, 2014 as the 7th Annual Celebration of Collaboration in Butler County. In response, we call upon citizens, collaborative committees, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit to the goal of meaningful collaboration for the purpose of better serving children and families in our community. Signed and sealed this 9th day of July, 2014. William L. McCarrier, Chairman, A. Dale Pinkerton, James Eckstein, Commissioners, and here too, accept the proclamation is Bill Halley and Heather Fink from the Collaboration Families.
Thank you, Commissioners. We just want to thank you for the money that you provide for us in the collaborative each year that helps these programs across the county that become a state model. And, just thank you again for the opportunity to have that happen for all of the 40 agencies that are members. And just thank you very much.
Okay, come on up here and get the proclamation. Heather and Bill, it's a pleasure to give this to you on behalf of the county commissioners. We thank you for all the work that you do, and Mark wants to get our picture there. Heather, is that anything you want to say?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I think Bill said it best for
Thank you,
us.
Bill.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Heather.
Yeah, thank you.
I just didn't want to let Bill get all the talking in there, Heather. I want
I appreciate you asking. Thank you so much.
Okay, proceed.
Moving on to new business, first under Parks and Recreation, Gary Pinkerton.
Morning, Commissioners. Morning. I'm here this morning to ask permission to submit a grant to the Department of Community and Economic Development, which will be reviewed by the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a possible greenways, trails, and recreation grant for the further development of what we refer to as the West 10th Street Trail. The application would be in the amount of grant funds for $250,000, matched by county contribution of $50,000 for a total application of $300,000. The project would improve the section of trail that we've had closed for numerous years in the lower part of the park. Would also include the development on the city side, a cul-de-sac, which would be a benefit to the community, as well as a 12-space parking lot with ADA accessibility, different trail kiosks, and maybe at a later date, a restroom facility.
Okay, is there a motion to,
I'll make the motion.
is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion?
Yes, I have a discussion about this. I'm on the Parks and Recreation Board. I want to give the people a little insight to how this stuff gets passed. I brought up my dissent on this at the Park and Recreations Board. This issue, it was brought up, this is a $300,000 project, minus $50,000 for the turnaround, would be approximately $250,000 for 2.5 mile trail. 1 mile of that is already there, basically already there. It's the old road into Alameda Park. So for 1.5 miles of trail, the balance of this, we're talking about $250,000 for this. Look, I asked them at the Park and Recreations meeting. This comes up in front of the board there. It got talked about for 5 minutes. I expressed my dissent for 3 minutes. It was Gary gave his 2 cents, and it total $300,000 expenditure was talked about 5 minutes. I disagree with this expenditure. It's 40. To give the public an idea on this. I don't know anything about it being a paved trail through the woods or anything. It's $41,000 per time around the football field. So if you look around your local football field, every time around there's $41,000 for this trail through the woods. Look, the state of Pennsylvania is in dire financial straits, okay? Couldn't we do this for half the price? I was told, no, we're going for the gusto, the $300,000. They wouldn't even consider it. It didn't even get brought up. Everybody just unanimously voted on it. Didn't hardly talk about it. That's what went on at the meeting. Now, I'm very, with all due respect to the people on that board, I'm glad they do it. But they ought to do something more than just come for lunch and not discuss these heavy issues. Gary brings it up. The board discusses it hardly at all. We spent $300,000. I'm totally disillusioned. The system is not working. It was Gary's idea. And these outlandish expenditures are just ridiculous. For a mile and a half of trail, we're talking $250,000, minus the turnaround in the parking area, which I agree that we need to facilitate that on one end. The other end, there is a parking area right now. But these expenditures have to stop. There's just no end to these high prices. You know, the state's going under, we just keep on spending. Okay.
Gary, did you get prices of this, or how did you?
Very honestly, Commissioner, what we're doing is implementing priority 2 of the master site plan for Alameda Park. As the board is aware, priority 1 was for the renovation of Alameda Pool, which is currently out for bid, and the redevelopment of the mountain bike trails within the park. Priority 2 of the master site development plan for Alameda Park was to renovate the original phase of the Alameda Playground, and also for the development of the West End Street Trail. As the board is aware, the county has been in the planning study for a comprehensive park and recreation plan, and also a master site plan, greenway plan, etc., for almost a year and a half. In that planning process, we've had public meetings, we've had key person interviews, we've actually had public surveys where people have submitted their results. As you know, we had a consultant, Patrick Associates, who have developed the master site plan based on the recommendations and the comments, etc., from those 3 sources of public input. The actual cost of the trail is based on the fact of reconfiguration of parking area and road is $120,000. Improving the trail is $150,000. The Ballards is $4,500, and the addition would be for the necessary engineering, bidding, closeout costs of the project. Very honestly, the grant, if you approve it to submit, is very competitive. You know, so again, it's funded by Act 13 money. It requires a minimum of 15% match for $250,000. In turn, to cover our cost of engineering, we need to have a $300,000 project. The same project, as the board is aware, if we would be submitting to our main funding source, the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, which requires a 50-50 match from the county, would mean county dollars into the project would be $150,000. In this case, we're having $50,000 expended from county funds to do this, and I'm assuming it would certainly be considered by the board to be funded from legacy funds, which is limited to the usage that it can be had with the funds that are received by the county. So in turn, again, yes, the park board did review it, but the park board, and again, Bill, you were at that meeting, and again, it wasn't discussed a whole lot, or et cetera, but in turn, it had been part of the planning project that has been going on for over a year and a half. So there had been a lot of input. There had been input in developing the priorities of the plan. All the board did, the commission did, is recommending seeking funding to implement the plan as it was established by the master site plan for Alameda Park.
I'd just like to say that it has been under study for a year and a half, and those board members have been in basically all of those meetings. So for Jim to say that in 5 minutes they gave $300,000 is really unfair. They've put a lot of time into this, and there's been a lot of big studies on it, and it's really the right thing to do. So we can minimize it all we want by saying it took 5 minutes, but it actually took a year and a half. And I'm really ashamed of you, Jim, for talking like that about the board and what their decisions are.
I'd like to rebut that. You know, I'm sorry that Dale's ashamed by me bringing the truth out at these meetings. You know, I'm very, that is ridiculous. My thing is here, I want the trail. Dale doesn't have to apologize for me to be ashamed. He ought to be worried about his own problems, okay?
I don't have any.
Yeah, you go to the University of Pittsburgh with your clown suits on, and ridiculous. The way you're dressed representing Butler County at the University of Pittsburgh. It's ridiculous. If you don't think it is, I'm not gonna, you don't have any problems. That's the arrogance and aloofness around here. But let me get back to the topic here. Now he's laughing.
You don't like my work?
Now he's laughing. I'm not saying not to do the project. Let me make that clear. I'm not saying I'm arguing about the price. To cut the price to $150,000. These costs are outlandish. We're putting a trail through the woods. Didn't anybody ever go to Moraine and hike through the woods? I mean, These costs are outlandish and unreasonable. I do it all the time. I do it with my kids. You know, I go to Crooked Creek State Park. We don't need a highway through there. I'm saying that we ought to do it. Everybody's got an excuse. Why can't we do it for half the price? You know, I think we can. I'm not saying not to do it. I want to make that very clear, okay? And I don't think these people are doing their job. I don't care if Dale thinks that or not. I was at the meeting. Dale wasn't there. I sat there and did it. I didn't think it was discussed for $300,000 for, I made my comment, and nobody else gave their comment. Okay, they're not spending their money. The system is not working. If they take offense by that, you know, some of them have been there for 20 years. I'm against board members being on boards 20 years. You know, the Mental Health Association on there, you're on there for 6 years and you're off for at least 3. You know, the system is not working. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. The costs are not being controlled. If that insults Dale, so be it. Okay, I could care less. Thank you very much.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The motion carries.
Commissioners, know that the granted permission to submit the grant application for the trail. I am requesting permission to pass the necessary resolution to submit the grant application to the Department of Conservation, or I'm sorry, Department of Community and Economic Development.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Question, I thought this was coming out of the impact fees.
The legacy fund.
Yeah,
Yes.
but what's the DCED have to do with those? Aren't they administered by EPA?
No.
No.
Yeah, because they actually gave part of the Act 13 money to DCED.
Okay, all right.
And basically, it's this. Last year was the first year, Commissioner. Again, the reason I say competition is going to be very stringent because it's actually open to private enterprise as well as municipal governments.
You answered our question. Thank you. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Right, okay.
The second item, Commissioner, I have is we talked briefly about it a minute ago was for the planning process that the county has been going through.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake on that. Can you put me down no for that last one? I apologize, Gary.
If I could clarify. So item 1 was 2 parts, the
Yes.
grant application, and then you have resolutions that
I have
accompany that.
passing a necessary resolution to submit the grant application. And what the resolution does is very honestly, Amy, it authorizes the individuals who are responsible to execute the document. In the case of the resolution, all 3 names of the Butler County Board of Commissioners are the authorizing people.
And those resolutions weren't technically on the agenda, but they were part of number 1 there, your
The one resolution.
DCED grant.
Correct.
All right. And then the second item is also resolutions, but that's related to DCNR, and we're getting to that.
Right.
So Commissioner Eckstein, you wish to be recorded as voting no on the resolutions that accompany item 1.
Correct, there were only 2 numbers here, and I got mixed up. I apologize for that, okay? There was 2 points, so I voted no. I'd like to vote no on this, I got mixed up.
All right, proceed to number 2 here.
Okay.
So I apologize, Gary, for interrupting.
Again, no problem. The second is the passing of the necessary resolution to close out the planning grant that was received from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. As the county is aware, originally we obtained a grant with the addition that we had. The total grant project cost was $285,000. The grant was for $142,500, matched by local matching funds. Again, it's 50-50 of the $142,500. Again, that was not all county money. The county local share for their portion of the planning grant was $75,000. $45,000 of that came from the naming rights from the Odd Fellow Shelter, and $30,000 was from the county funds. $50,000 came from Cranberry because, again, they were doing part of our planning process. North Country Trail Association was $9,500, and Moraine Preservation Fund also was $8,000 towards the local match. So in turn, it was not all local match of $142,500.
Thanks, Gary.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, may I clarify one other item
You may.
on item 1? We recorded that Mr. Eckstein made the motion, and then voted against it. Did you mean to make that motion for the resolution part of?
But it doesn't
number
matter, a
one?
person can make a motion and vote against it.
Yes, but we wanted to just clarify, since he had changed his vote, that he had intended to make that motion as well.
No,
So
I
we
didn't
record
want
it
to
properly.
make that motion, okay, yeah, okay.
But it doesn't matter because
You made it, it happened.
All right,
Right, and
we'll record it in the minutes.
that's something I didn't
That
know
way.
too. You don't have, if you make the motion, you don't necessarily.
That's correct.
Oh, okay, thanks, man.
people make motions for the purpose of discussion so they can vote against it later on.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
Next, under court administration, Tom Holman.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Tom.
I have three things for you this morning. First, I'm going to ask for your permission to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Center for Community Resources for the provision of case management services for drug court. This would be a $5,500 per quarter bill to them to provide those services. I ask for your approval.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And this money is coming from where now?
General fund.
Okay, so
It's
this,
part of the adult probation budget.
okay, so now it's going to come from PCR.
No, we already contract with them. This is to change the level of responsibility they have and actually significantly increase some of the work that they're doing for us.
Okay. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. The second thing is I'm asking for your approval of a proposed agreement with Guardian, one of the Armstrong group of companies, for the provision of dress alarm services in the magisterial district judge offices. We would be asking for 6 of the offices. Saxonburg's already covered by them. We're making this move at this time because the state is getting out of the business of providing that service. We think it's essential. We want to go with a local company. And the state will provide for all the costs involved with the purchase of the new equipment that's involved. I ask for your approval of that contract.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Question, Tom. The state is not going to pay the monthly fee, right?
Correct.
Correct or not?
That is correct.
Okay.
They are currently paying it. They're getting out of that business. We suspect that within the next several months, they won't be paying it. We want to take advantage of their offer to pay for the installation costs and new equipment. So
And what's the monthly fee going to be?
$31.95 a month per office.
$31.95 per office?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tom.
And just to clarify, Tom, you said you were holding off on Shakur until the new magistrate goes.
Cranberry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cranberry.
Right.
Yeah,
We won't be, we don't want to double dip on installation costs, so.
Right.
We'll hold off the Cranberry office until they move to their new site.
Okay, thank
Probably
you.
January, February, later in the year.
Is the necessary wiring going into that building to
Yes.
take care of that?
Yes. Well, yes, it's all wireless inside the building, so they just install their equipment at D-Mark in the basement and put it in panic buttons through the building.
Okay, so, well, one last question. If one office needs 2 and one needs 4, is it the same cost per month, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You mean panic buttons?
Yeah, right.
Well, they'll all have the same number. They'll all be duplicates, and but the monthly monitoring fee remains the same.
Okay, Tom, thanks.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
And finally, gentlemen, I'm asking for permission to purchase 3 new C-PIN live scan machines through the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association. The C-PIN live scan machines are that which we use to take electronic fingerprints and electronic photographs that go into the Commonwealth Law Enforcement Agency network system. The machines that we have are currently, we plan to replace them in 2015 when their useful life expires. However, the Chiefs of Police Association has made available to us quite a nice fund for us to significantly reduce the cost of the machines by purchasing now. So instead of $19,000, our cost is $9,500 per machine. Plus, we'll also save on 2 and maybe 3 years of maintenance costs because they're brand new machines. We won't have to be paying that. The better news for the commissioners, I suspect, however, is that the total cost of this is paid for from Fund 23, which is a user-funded budget for us. That means everyone who has their fingerprints and photographs taken pays a fee to have that done. So these are paid for by the people who are having fingerprints taken. That we have the money available, so there'd be no county tax dollars involved in this at all.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, Tom, thank you so much for that. I mean, that was a really good deal.
I think-
Yeah.
I made the motion.
I'm sorry, we didn't record it as a motion, just as a vote. Was there a motion made?
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I thought we had that.
And may we have a vote on that motion, please?
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
We
Thank
were
you.
so glad about saving the money that we
All right.
carried away.
Next, under facilities and operations, John Campbell.
Good morning, Commissioner.
All right, John.
I have 2 things today. First thing I would like to ask you for is to approve the rates for Rennick Brothers. They are the original installers of the equipment here in the government center, the courthouse, and 911. And your question, Mr. McCary, yes, we will be using them for the remainder of the time for 911 and the courthouse.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Second thing I have for you today is the approval of a $700 demobilization and mobilization charge for Cranberry Magistrate at LHS.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion?
We discussed this early at the Monday meeting. I was in construction all my life, a contractor, and I think this $700 price, I think the guy should be paid, but I think it's $350 too high. I'm gonna vote no on this. You know, like I say, I'm not saying we shouldn't give them something extra for this, but it's not the market rate. You know, we're being gouged here. I'm sticking with that.
It's at least half the market rate according to my research. I found out, I had information from another contractor who knew nothing about this price, and he was asked how much he would charge to do the same thing, and his price was just exactly double, $1,400. And you have the figures there that Mr. Dillich presented you. Would you?
Yes, he
had those.
He broke it down for me, itemized it. He charges $125 an hour for moving equipment. It's an hour round trip from his house to the Cranberry site. It's 15 minutes to get the machine on and off the vehicle. He only charged us for moving the 2 pieces of equipment out. He did not charge us for bringing them back, because whenever we interrupted his schedule, he asked me if he had to come back at a certain date. I'm like, no. I said, you can wait till you get finished up with your one job. He was down in Cranberry later on, whenever he did come back, so he did not charge us for remobilization. The only thing he charged us for was a demobilization.
What was the one part? I didn't hear the last part.
The demobilization. He charged us for hauling the machines out. He did not charge us for hauling them back.
Okay.
I did some quick math on it. The bill should have come out to $1,370 is what the bill should have been.
That's $30 less than I was told by another contractor. And Mr. Dillich, I've known him a long time. He is a very reputable person. He's a very fine individual. He would not gouge us. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
So no.
Thank you.
Next, under emergency services, Steve Weishaus has asked me to present this on his behalf. He's not able to be at the meeting this morning. And this is ratification of the submission of the fiscal year 2014-2015 Hazardous Materials Response Fund grant application. The amount of grant eligibility is $110,215.88. We ask your approval.
Make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Next, under information technology, Bob Moyer.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, Bob.
I'm here today to ask for approval of the enterprise agreement with Microsoft for cost of software. In the 2014 capital budget, we had several items approved. One was a new email server, one was a configuration manager. And as we got to the pricing of those, Microsoft changed how they're rating them. So the prices went up. Under our select agreement, which we have through the state of Pennsylvania, which means we get a discount based on how much the entire state buys. This software will cost $216,000. Under the enterprise agreement, which is I guess a discount, we guarantee them that we're gonna buy certain software from them for the next 3 years, but the price goes down to $175,000. So the savings is $40,000. Now, on top of that, we'll pay for that over 3 years, so the cost each year will be $58,500. And I asked for approval of the enterprise agreement so we can change the financials so we can order this equipment.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Bob, is this money in the budget?
Yes,
You put it in the budget this year?
yes, it was all in there already.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Next, under Human Services, Area Agency on Aging, Jack Harrell.
Good morning,
Good
Commissioners.
morning, Beth.
I have 2 items this morning. The first is to approve an amendment to the fiscal year 2014-2015 Senior Center Management Contract with Nutrition Incorporated to change the provider name to the Nutrition Group doing business as Pittsburgh Companies North Incorporated, and all terms of the contract remain the same.
Is there a motion to approve this? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
The next item is approval to renew contracts with the following providers to provide services to older adults through the home and community-based service programs. No county funds are involved. And the first is for the Nutrition Group doing business as Pittsburgh Companies North and Company Nutrition Services. There's no increase of that. The only line item that is different than that is $100,000 for potential special projects to be done for seniors in the counties throughout the year.
Is there a motion to approve this?
Okay, I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
The next is to renew the contract with Butler County for adult daycare services. No increase in the amount of that contract for the fiscal year 2014 to 2015.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
And the next 3, they're from July 1st, 2014 to September 30th, 2014, under the renewed contracts for in-home services with Concordia Visiting Nurses, Cambridge Home Health Services, and Personal Touch Home Care Updates of Pennsylvania Incorporated, with no rate increase with those 3 contracts.
Do them all together, Mr. Solicitor?
You certainly may.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Beth.
Have a good day.
Next, under the Planning Commission CDBG program, Wendy Leslie.
Trying to match Dale today, Steve. Trying to match with Dale today.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I have 2 items today for your consideration. The first one, we're asking approval to advertise for bids for Penn Township Church Road paving project. This is a multi-year funded project using Penn Township CDBG funds for 2011, 12, and 13. The bids would be due into the County Controller's Office by 2 p.m. on Friday, August 8th, and open at our agenda setting meeting at 9:30 on Monday, August 11th. The bid documents can be picked up at Penn Township Municipality Building, which is located at 157 East Airport Road in Butler, for a fee of $25 a set. All details will be included in the advertisement, and potential bidders can call Penn Township at 724-586-1165 if they have any questions. There are no county dollars involved, and we're asking for your approval.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Last item I have, we're asking for your approval to advertise for bids for the Eau Claire Borough Sidewalk and Curb Cuts project. This is using 2012 CDBG funds. The bids would be due into the County Controller's Office by 2 p.m. on Friday, August 8th, and open at the agenda setting meeting at 9:30 on Monday, August 11th. Bid documents can be downloaded via Widmer Engineers website at widmerengineers.com, for no charge, or they can be picked up at Widmer Engineer Office, which is located at 806 Lincoln Place in Beaver Falls, for a $30 fee per set. All details will be included in the advertisement, and potential bidders can call Widmer Engineers at 724-847-1696 if they have any questions. There are no county dollars involved, and we're asking for your approval.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
For the first item under Commissioners, I'd like to recognize Controller Ben Holland for the presentation of the comprehensive annual financial report.
Make this as exciting as you can.
I'll try. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
It is a privilege and an honor to present Butler County's comprehensive annual financial report for the year ending December 31st, 2013. The primary purpose of this report is to provide a detailed accounting of the county's 2013 financial activities. Mara Dussel has independently audited the financial statements as assurance that they are not materially misstated, and the report has been filed in a timely manner. Some areas of the report that I'd like to highlight include, and you've all been given a copy, is Section 3, page 4. The fund balance increased $276,000 to slightly over $9 million. Of that balance, $5.3 million has been assigned to this year's 2014 budget. The operating reserve, or the county's emergency fund, was $1.2 million at the end of the year, and the unassigned fund balance was $664,000. Last year, that was actually zero, or negative, technically. The remaining balance is restricted for agricultural easements, committed and assigned to workers' compensation, or assigned to conservation. Section 3, page 8, lists the revenues and expenditures. Revenues exceeded the budget by a little over $1 million. And expenditures were lower than the budget by over $5.7 million. Section 3, page 10, these are your business type activities. The county's contribution to Sunnyview amounted to $1,161,883, and the county's contribution to emergency services, this would include wireless, totaled $968,156. Section 3, page 13, this is your fiduciary account for the pension fund. The county's contribution or ARC payment was over $7.3 million. The employee contributions were over $3.6 million. Butler County residents and taxpayers and the general public may access this report by visiting www.co.butler.pa.us/CAFR/CAFR. Wish to acknowledge the assistance of those who contributed to the report's successful completion this year, and also to recognize those who have assisted in this report's successful completion in past years. Additionally, appreciation is extended to the Board of County Commissioners, the County Treasurer, County Planning Department, and the County Property and Revenue Office. Much appreciation is also expressed to the row offices and departments supplying the information presented in a very informative statistical section. Thank you also to Mark Dussel for your support in successfully completing this report. But it is especially for the dedicated staff in the Controller's Office that I reserve the fullest and greatest measure of my appreciation and gratitude.
Thank you, Ben. It's a good report. I haven't looked at this yet. I just got it this morning, but I did go through the draft, the whole thing, and the work involved in that is just unbelievable from my standpoint. So I commend you and your staff and everybody who contributed to that, to this report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we're asking for your approval of an amended contract with Inservco as our third-party administrator for workers' compensation from August 2014 through December 31st, 2016. They've reduced their fee to reflect the county's reduction in the workforce following the sale of Sunnyview. We ask for your approval.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Next, we have a proposal to commit $130,000 of the county's Act 13 Marcellus Shale Impact Fee funds, which would represent $65,000 from the 2013 year funds and $65,000 from the 2014 year funds, as a contribution to BC3 to purchase a fire emergency training trailer for BC3's Fire Academy.
I'd like to make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion?
I'd like to say, sometimes, as people have noticed, the commissioners don't get along, you know, on all the issues. But I'd like to commend the other two commissioners on this. I think this whole the initiative done by Cranberry Township with Bruce Mazzoni heading this is very, very critical to our volunteer fire companies. I commend Bruce Mazzoni for making it county-wide. The whole thing is county-wide, and the commissioners the other two commissioners agreed to this, and we even upped it a little. So I'm very grateful for that, and with Bill being a former fire chief, I'm sure they know that too. But this really worked out good. I couldn't be happier about this issue. I'm very thankful. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I'd like to make a couple comments, and that people might wonder what this is all about. Bruce Mazzoni and with the help of Cranberry Township have started an initiative to recruit volunteer firemen. In 1970, there were 300,000 volunteer firemen in the state of Pennsylvania. Now we're down to about 50,000. The numbers are decreasing. As Jim mentioned, I was a fire chief at one time. When we had a fire in the middle of the night, we'd get 100 volunteers out there to fight that fire. Now, sometimes you're lucky to get enough people to mobilize the equipment. So hopefully with this training center and the things we're doing at the community college and providing scholarships for people who are young firemen, we can increase the number of firemen in Butler County and offer better protection for the residents of Butler County. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carried.
Our last item is we're asking your approval of a developer's agreement with Cranberry Township. This is in regard to the construction project for the DJ's office in Cranberry. This would be with authorization for the chairman to sign. There are no funds involved. It's a part of the process to prepare for construction to begin on that project. We ask your approval.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
That's all for new business.
Is there a motion to approve the budgetary transfers?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the new hires?
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the travel requests?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve the requisitions?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the check register?
So moved.
I'll make that motion. Or I'm sorry, I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Conference time with the media. Colin, we'll start with you today for a change.
Sheriff, what was your intention with the email, since the commissioners discussed it?
I'd like to talk to you after the meeting. You can
Sure.
put your questions to the board.
Sure, thank you, Sheriff. I guess for the chairman, since this issue has arisen again, as far as what constitutes public comment, we've heard various things. Every year we have an update on cleaning up I don't recall which creek. Connequenessing. But they're not asking for anything from the board. So in other words, is that a county business? I mean, there seems to be but yet county warrants wouldn't be something the public needs to know? How many warrants are being served?
It's a difficult question. We've been very liberal with our policy. As you know, we've let almost anyone speak about anything from butterflies to whatever. And I think that Mike has reminded us that we probably need to take a look at our policy and see that it is being followed. And it's interesting that you mentioned the Connequenessing Creek cleanup people, because they were in to see us this week, and they asked me to put on the agenda, because even though it's not county business, it is county business, because it's cleaning up the creek that flows through Butler County. So we have agreed to put them on the agenda. I believe it's August 23rd, the second meeting in August. So again, I think that we will take a look at this policy and make sure that it's followed. We could argue a lot of different things what people say is or is not county business.
Commissioner Eckstein?
Look, to me, this isn't even a close call. Matters of concern, the warrants are definitely, I liked when he did that. I didn't know why he stopped, I had no idea. I'm proud of what the sheriff's done in that, in that avenue. Very proud of the deputies for serving warrants. What's the sense of having judges doing people if you don't go out and get them, you know, or extradite people? I'm very proud of what he's done there. You know, so, and, the law says, the state law says matters of concern. Well, I'd like to have anybody come up here, a matter of concern for Butler County isn't getting the trash out of the Connoquenessing Creek. I'm so proud of those people. They came, and I didn't hug them yesterday, but I could have. I mean, they were just doing a fabulous job. They're getting 180 volunteers to do that. They're getting Forward Township, Connoquenessing Township, and us for equipment. I mean, they're just doing a fantastic job. Who would ever think that a matter of concern for Butler County isn't removing the trash by volunteers from our waterways? I mean, it's obvious to me.
But technically, Tom, the policy says a person may speak on matters that is before the county commissioners, or going to be before the county commissioners. So technically, you could say that Connoquenessing Creek is not under that policy. You could say that what Mike does is not under that policy because his business is not county commissioner's business. So it's a very fine line in that policy.
All right, thank you.
Is that all you have?
Yes.
Kayla?
I have the same question for the sheriff, so I'll talk to him after.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.